Hey class, this video is to help you with the SDS assignment that you're going to be working on today. I'm going to keep this short, but I'm going to go through the SDS and give you an idea of where you can find the information. So the government changed the legal requirements for safety data sheets it's been 5 or 6 years now. So every safety data sheet or SDS is supposed to follow this same format. So unless you find one that's outdated, they should all be arranged in somewhat the same way. So I'm going to give you an example here, and I'm going to walk through the questions. I am using Clorox bleach. Here it is, Clorox disinfecting bleach. So you are going to want to pick your own chemical, something maybe it's around the house that you found, or something that you know of in a workplace, or just some random chemical that you found on the internet. You're going to find its safety data sheet. The best thing to do is to Google it. I Googled Clorox bleach SDS, and it took me about 10 seconds to get to this SDS. Since I am using this as an example, please do not use Clorox disinfecting bleach or other Clorox bleaches for your assignment. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what is the product? Specifically the brand name and the product name. So mine is Clorox disinfecting bleach, and that will be sufficient. So this is the identification section. If we scroll down a little bit, here we find the hazards section. That's the second one. Next question I have is, what are the hazards? And they are listed in here. So the hazard statements are usually around here. For bleach, it causes serious eye damage and it causes skin irritation. Your chemical, depending on what you choose, may be different. If the hazard statement has a lot, then just give me the top 3. But for most chemicals, you're just going to see 1 or 2. Usually it's something about eyes, something about skin. Sometimes it's something about breathing it. Anyway, if it's a long list, keep it to 3 or less. Just 3, excuse me. Next question is, what is the appearance? Which is also in the same section. Here it is. Here's the appearance. The appearance is clear yellow. If you've ever seen bleach, that's kind of what it looks like. The next question on the same page is going to be, what is the physical state? It's a liquid. Those are all going to be found in the hazards section. And so let's scroll down a little bit. Okay, so we've got composition of ingredients. This is where you have the chemical name. So you'll want to give me the chemical name. Try your best to spell it correctly, but just do the best you can for now. Then there's a section called first aid measures. There's a question that says, what is the general advice for first aid? So here's first aid. Here's the general advice. This is what it tells me. Immediate medical attention is required if it gets in your eyes. It also says, show this safety data sheet to the doctor and attendants. So I wrote, immediate medical attention for the eyes, show SDS to the doctor. So we're going to scroll down a little bit more. You can see there's quite a bit of things specific for the eyes, specific for skin, inhalation, ingestion. There's going to be a lot of information here, so we are just looking for specifics. Most important symptoms and effects, burning. Section 5, firefighting measures. Here's what I want you to look for. In firefighting measures, I want to know the suitable extinguishing media. What that means, do we have to use water to put it out? Can we use water to put it out? Does it have to be some of that special foam that firefighters use sometimes? Does it need to be put out with sand? There's a lot of different possibilities. This one says, for fires involving bleach, use extinguishing measures that are appropriate to local circumstances and the surrounding environment. This means that if water is the best option, use water. If the fire extinguisher is the best option, use the fire extinguisher. So we're pretty open with how we put this one out. There's some other things like specific hazards. Be careful, firefighters. This is what it's telling you. What else is going to cause it to burn or explode? In this case, not so much. Accidental release. This means if you have a big spill, like when a semi with a tanker on the back crashes and spills a bunch of stuff everywhere, what's going to happen? So that's accidental release. Accidental release could also be just, a minor spill within your house. Handling and storage, what should you do with it? So storage, usually they're going to say, keep the container closed in a cool, dry, well-ventilated place. You don't want it to get hot and start to build up pressure, because when you open it, it might kind of spray everywhere. Keep out of reach of children. What's incompatible? This point right here is going to tell you what to keep away from it, because bad things happen. Strong acids, strong bases, acids, bases, anything that's going to oxidize it. Those are things that you do not want to mix with it. Exposure control / personal protection. Here's another question I'm going to ask you. It's about eye and face protection. What does it say in order to protect your own eyes and face? This one says wear safety glasses with side shields or goggles. If you're dealing with bleach, this is what you should wear. By goggles, we mean the kind that we use in our laboratory. Those are chemical splash goggles. You can find other things here. It says wear gloves, impervious gloves. That means things like waterproof gloves. There are some other things, some more about physical and chemical properties. You can see there's a lot of potential pieces for data, and we're just going to cruise past that. Stability and reactivity. Conditions to avoid. For instance, exposure to air or moisture over prolonged periods. Basically, this means keep the lid on it, because the more air that gets to it, the less the chemical is going to be stable. And it goes on from there. Toxicological, that means, is it poisonous? Is it toxic? What happens to the different parts of the body? Here's the chemical name again. There's a lot of just random stuff. Ecological information. How is it for the environment? Is it really bad for the environment? Is it okay? This one, not fully investigated. But if I had to guess, you probably don't want to spill it out in the woods, because it'd be bad for probably the trees or the dirt. Disposal, do not reuse empty containers. How do you transport it? Is it regulated? Are there laws about how much you can have or what you can do with it or where you can take it? Clean Water Act, things from the EPA, other information. So as you can see, there is quite a bit about this particular chemical listed in this safety data sheet. So we're only looking for a few select pieces. Hopefully this video is helpful to get you to the right places to find those informations. So find a chemical, make sure it's not Clorox bleach, and email me if you have any questions.